1, 2, test, test. 1, 2.
Alright. It's on? No. They're working on audio.
We're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. I thought you said you wanted to fix something on the camera.
I will come out there to help you with the exposure. Let us just finish what we're doing.
Can you go do that?
Now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call you and then...
Okay.
March and then...
313 6.
Have a good call.
13,
Thanks, Derek.
63.
1363?
Yeah.
Andrew's running the board, so I'm going back to the office.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
What?
Why? You just wanted to.
Well, no, his team is going to do the soccer games, I think.
Oh, okay.
Just because we have to run the score on the actual video board, and we can't use the console. So that's the only reason why.
Can you say something again?
Test, test. 1, 2, test, test.
I'm so used to having that other mixer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can hear myself now.
Okay, but
That's
you're
good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need to see the screen now? Turn it down a little bit. No, the other way. Is that doing anything? Turn it. You're changing the focus, not the exposure. Do you know which one is the exposure? Okay, change the focus back. Okay, that's good. Leave the focus. Leave it. The exposure is the skinny one. Closest to, yeah. Nope, it's not doing it. They might just have it set on auto, which I don't have time to fix that right now, so just leave it. Okay. Alright, bye. It's hard to teach.
Bye.
Welcome into LTSN. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr. It's a pleasure to have you back. Our 5th of 10 women's soccer broadcast. The Blue Devils find themselves in search of an offensive resurgence on their home field against the visiting Olivet Comets this afternoon. The Blue Devils hoping to find their way back on track in a familiar setting under head coach Andy Richards in his 3rd season. The narrative for the visiting D3 Olivet Comets also includes getting back on track, the hope of bouncing back after a shutout loss. And going up here is White. She'll drop it back as the Comets look to settle in for the first time this afternoon. Olivet comes in at 3-2-1 on the season. The Blue Devils hoping to get back above 500 after losing 2 in a row for the first time this year, coming off a tough loss at number 1 ranked Spring Arbor, but hoping to get back into a familiar setting and get back to what will hopefully be their winning ways this afternoon. Ayanna Reed getting the start for the Blue Devils side in the vicinity there. And now it'll go to Sydney Everett, the junior from Dansville, Michigan. Sent on back and giving chase here. The nice header won by Randy Jeanette. Followed up by Everett. Smith getting the start this afternoon, her 3rd start of her Blue Devil career. Hope to utilize her speed, both defensively and offensively. This will go in favor of Olivet. Lawrence Tech hasn't scored a goal since August 31st. That was against Roosevelt, a 1-0 victory on this field. Find themselves in a defensive position here. Emma Esser, one of the threats that we'll certainly talk about this afternoon for this Olivet side. Couple of nifty moves leading the Comets in goals this year with 4 through 6 games. They'll try to feed it back to her, but a tad bit of an inaccurate pass, and Jeanette will clear, but out of play, sailing on over the Blue Devil bench, where Andy Richards, the head man, looks on in his 3rd season. Jeanette will play it down. Chasing after it here is Sarah Trapp. Flowing down the middle of the field went Delaney Chalker, the 5'5 freshman, getting the start this afternoon. Here is Chalker. From Gold Lake High School, Richland, Michigan. Nybor, one of the threats on the Blue Devils side. Somewhat of a threat, but nothing doing there, edge of the area, and that'll bring out, for the first time, Samantha Gifford getting the start this afternoon, her 7th start in the goalkeeper role on that Olivet side. About 492 minutes coming into this one in that goalkeeper position, a 3-2-1 record on the season. Jordan Messing, one of the senior leaders, both vocally off the field and on the field, gets things right back down to Gifford. Barnes, Messing, intentions for Trapp. Now Trapp finds herself in a battle on the way back there, going up against Kylie Schnack, the Rochester Hills native. Here's Everett's, up to Smith, Bloomfield Hills native. Goes back on to Everett's, playing it back. Samantha Torres. Bit of a run down that right side, trying to utilize her speed, taken down, and the flag goes up. Torres had 2 assists in the opening match of the season for Olivet. A sophomore from Lansing. She's garnered what appears to be deeper trust from the coaching staff in her 2nd season. Playing time is up. Now edge of the area. Nice job defensively from Smith. clearing things out at least momentarily. And Smith active and buzzing around defensively early on. And Fetzer trying to slip through. Fetzer and messing with a nice play. That'll set up our first corner opportunity of this afternoon. An 84-degree afternoon here at the LTU Athletic Field. The supporters have come out and represented well. Olivet, a crosser in. A chance, and Almondo's is there. Calm, poise, and steady. Rebecca Almondo's earns WAC Defensive Player of the Week after week one, a couple of wins. Trying to chase this one down is Chalker, but to no avail. If there was a positive to Spring Arbor, I guess Almondo's probably is responsible for that score not being worse than it was. Still made a few great saves, but overall a tough afternoon for the Blue Devils in all phases. It was a challenge, though, that they hope to learn from. Bit of open space here for Olivet. Chasing it down is Grace White. Now steady, looking into the eyes of Randy Jeanette, and she'll play it on back. Angie Demopoulos breaking up the momentum there from Chelsea Smith. Blue Devils pouncing defensively early on. Aggressive, running balls down. The energy aspect of this game was something to look to in the opening minutes. Both of these teams got off to rough starts last time out. The Blue Devils really got off to a sluggish start in their last home game against Purdue Northwest. Really from warm-ups, Coach Richards felt that it wasn't the most auspicious start as Madison Smith makes a nice play there, then tries to break on down. Now stealing it away here is Sarah Trapp. The 5'8" senior will make her way down, looking that time for Chalker. An early save made on a corner opportunity for Olivet. That's the lone shot on goal through the first 8.5 minutes. Ayana Reed. Final match before WAC play gets underway for the Blue Devils. Certainly getting a bit anxious and inching closer to that time if you're a fan. That'll be next Friday. And we'll have that right here for you on the LTU Sports Network with Madonna coming to town. A rivalry battle as things try to work down that left-hand side for Olivet. Jeanette is back defensively. Jeanette has such a passion for the game. Coaches and plays. As Smith goes up ahead looking for Trapp. Abby Radcliffe up to Torres and out of play. Turning with it here. Abby Radcliffe. There's a shot taken from Samantha Torres. And Almondo's ready and prepared once again. Olivet getting their conference season underway soon. A member of the MIAA in the Division III under Coach Doug Carter, ringing in a new era under Coach Carter in his first season. Torres able to get in behind. Sneaking up behind there now is Emma Esser. She'll go on back. Chelsea Smith. Esser and Almondo's once again ready. A groan of satisfaction released from this Blue Devil crowd after another opportunity stymied there. Blue Devils have been aggressive and, for the most part, compact early on. Torres has slipped behind a couple of times. Here's Barnes looking for Sarah Trapp. Keeps things alive. Now here's Smith. A light touch over into the area. Ayana Rito's there. Olivet supporters also in attendance. Olivet about an hour and a half away. Very small town of about 1,600 people. Olivet trying to preserve what is currently an undefeated record on the road, 3-0 on the year, but coming off a loss to Elmhurst at home. They surrendered 2 goals in the first 15 minutes. They've played much better in the first 15 minutes this afternoon. Those goals were actually scored within a 2.5-minute time frame. Here's Trapp. And the flag goes up. Angie Demopoulos. Grace White from Big Rapids, Michigan. We'll play it on back to Fetzer. Fetzer able to get by the initial contact. Now Torres. Down went Everett. And this will go to Olivet. Torres and Messing is there once again defensively. That'll give Barnes an opportunity now to go back after this one. Trying to lead Chalker down, the freshman. I mentioned Olivet, a D3 program. Blue Devils went up against D2 Purdue Northwest the last time they were on this field and just could not find a way past that last line of defense. Felt as though they had opportunities at times, but just every single time it just could not quite materialize. So the Blue Devils hoping to turn the switch on offense and put those last couple of outings behind them. Chalker was taken down. Now Sarah Trapp trying to settle this ball down. She'll turn. Bit congested over there. Smith was in the vicinity. Here's about a 25-yard shot taken out there from Barnes. Just hops off the artificial turf and right into the grasp of Samantha Gifford. The Lansing native will get us back underway. Looking for the long ball. Randy Jeanette doing a nice job of getting back defensively there. The passionate defending on display early. Nice runs have been made by Torres and Emma Esser on the Olivet side. Here is Esser. Ayanna Reed able to come away with the challenge there, but sent up by Chalker, looking for Trapp. But the last line of defense was there once again. Blue Devils now try to work it back. Chalker, a quick touch on to Nybor. Threatening offensive player for the Blue Devils. The forward with the corner. The header from Messing off the crossbar. And an early golden chance for the Blue Devils, just inches away from their first goal since August 31st, but couldn't quite capitalize. Everett's. Second shot on goal for the Blue Devils was one with plenty of potential. Can Torres settle this down? Had to opt to go with the header. Olivet still able to come away with it. Here's Stradcliffe. Trying to chase that down. Appears to be Chelsea Smith. Watched tightly by Barnes. Smith closes. Nine freshmen, 7 sophomores, 6 juniors, and 3 seniors on this LTU roster. Here's Dimopoulos, one of the juniors, will play it up to Ayanna Reed. Now to Trapp. Back to Reed. Ayanna Reed, one of the other juniors on the roster. She'll give it up ahead as Trapp tries to settle things down. One of the 3 seniors from Plymouth, Michigan. And Reed will just curl that one on right into the grasp, that time of Samantha Gifford. The Lansing native, she'll look on. Stradcliffe able to get in behind Messing. Now making a run here is Grace White, and couldn't quite track that one down in time to settle it down. Watched closely by Randy Jeanette. Able to find a bit of open space there. Grace White, the Big Rapids native, hometown about 3 hours away from here. One goal in her freshman campaign. Was hoping to build there. Now here's Reed once more, active early on, looking for Chalker. Here's Grace White and Jeanette. A nice job defensively. Once again there from the Mediacom major, Randy Jeanette. Up ahead, here's Chalker, looking to counterattack with a little bit of space for the Blue Devils. Sarah Trapp plays things back, streaking down that right-hand side, comes in Barnes. Barnes with a blast, but right off a Comet. Demopoulos will go on back to Ali Nybor. Nybor, a player that can fall in the class of a threat just about every time her foot touches the ball. And here is Nybor. But possession will head back to Olivet. About 85 degrees outside, and that will call for a water break here on LTSN. Second consecutive match that this has been the case. It was quite chilly last weekend for the men's Blue Devil Classic that the men won in spectacular fashion. Overtime game winner against Huntington. But things are on the other side this afternoon. People trying to stay under the shade, and we'll be back momentarily here on LTSN. The score, 22-15 remaining here in the opening half. Welcome back to LTSN. Blue Devils at 3-3 on the season. The visiting Olivet Comets. Final non-conference match of the season before we dive into conference play next Friday. And we're back underway here at the LTU Athletic Field after a water break. 22:08 remaining in this opening half. The Blue Devils trying to spark some life into the offense. It was a header from Jordan Messing off the crossbar, inches away from possibly being the difference early on here. First couple of substitutions, as we'll see Ayanna Reed head out. Lindsay Shutback will head on in. Caitlin Mather, we were awaiting to see when she would come out onto the field. Such an offensive threat for this Blue Devil team as a sophomore. 2 goals so far for the Bloomfield Hills native. Now here is Mather right on cue, laying it back for Madison Smith, the transfer from the University of Illinois Chicago. Now they'll drop it on back. Here comes Sydney Everett's. The big collision there between a couple of Comets, and that last touch was off of Everett's. Possession will head back to the Comets here. Mather there watching defensively, following along. Momentum carrying a bit with the Blue Devils now. Off the bench, Silverman with a beautiful play defensively. Shutback calmly will fire it in towards the middle of the field. That ricochets fortuitously ahead and in front for Mather to try to settle things down. Torres for Olivet. She started off this one quite well. And a bit of open space here, but closing quickly to try to halt the momentum, and doing so with Silverman. Shutback staring into the eyes of Torres. Up ahead, Grace White. Chelsea Smith. Nybor there. Slipping through here is Esser. Slips one by and just slides wide. We remain scoreless with a shade under 20 minutes to play here in this opening half. A big match for both sides. The Blue Devils looking to get back on track heading into conference play. Shutback. Up ahead, here's Mather. Still Mather. Now Shutback. Watched tightly by a couple of Comets. Finds Smith on that left-hand side looking, delivering a low cross in for Mather, and that one sent back out. Silverman. On over to Alexis Barnes. Crowd waiting patiently. Nybor, the delivery that sails wide left. on the free kick from about 40 yards out. #259th day of the calendar year, and a big match for Lawrence Tech on their home field. A test that they'll hope to live up to. They've already had a much better first half than they did against Spring Arbor when they surrendered 4 goals in that opening half. They don't feel that they'll have a loss like that again, but they do feel that it is important to learn from the mistakes that were made in that match. It was a very physical match the last time out at home against Purdue Northwest as Mather tries to chase things down, but couldn't quite make it in time. Here's Lindsay Shupback trying to serpentine her way through and went down. Slow to get up after the foul. And once again, it'll be Nybor trying to engineer something here. One Comet at the edge of the 6-yard box. Nybor looks, approaches, delivers, and nothing to make of there. They'll redo the opportunity, and is that a save right on the goal line made by Bradford. Silverman. Offset for Nybor. Now here's Torres closing promptly on her as Mather. An excellent job defensively, and now here come the Blue Devils. Shutback on over to Barnes. Looking ahead. Chalker, can she chase it down? Won't have enough space or time. Looking around the WAC early on as we approach WAC play. Madonna off to a nice start at 5-1, but leading the way, Siena Heights still undefeated at 6-0. Madonna recently lost for the first time this season. Cleary and Cornerstone both at 4-1. Blue Devils were picked 7th in the preseason poll. Their WAC opener, Madonna, was picked 3rd in that poll. Blue Devils have other intentions, though, hoping to prove people wrong and hoping to get back on track this afternoon. This time around, it will be Abby Ratcliffe getting set up here. Sarah Feldpausch. Chelsea Smith, and Almondoz. Mather once again meeting the ball, and now the forward trying to gallop downfield. The type of effort that will be needed to get the electricity and the goals, the ball back in the net, if possible, this afternoon. Still haven't seen Sidney McClay out there for the Blue Devils, leading the team with a pair of assists and goals. 6 points on the season for McClay. Randy Jeanette trying to track that one down. Madison Bologna in off the bench, but going down that left-hand side. The Comets trying to work something together here. It's Abby Radcliffe. And once again stopped, unable to breach the back line that played so well through those first couple of home games for the Blue Devils. Really pouncing all over the place. We've seen that potential, that ability to be so tenacious defensively. We've seen that this afternoon from the Blue Devils. Now looking to get the forwards going, though. Here is Lauren Wozniak. Certainly a threat for the Blue Devils to put the ball perhaps in the back of the net. Wozniak, the sophomore from Walled Lake, gathered 4 goals a season ago. 3 of those goals came in WAC games. 2018, so far a goal and 2 assists and 12 shots on goal. Silverman's header went right back to a Comet. That is Amelia Northern. Here's Northern chasing it down once more, and that led to a big collision on that near side with Everett's. Everyone checks, and everyone is okay. Closing minutes of this first half. Who can perhaps pull together a dream ending to the first half? Here's Wozniak! A dream ending it is! 1-0, the first goal since August 31st. Much needed, and hopefully a energy boost to an offense that is looking for goals this afternoon, and they get that with Wozniak. Wozniak's second of the season, and the Blue Devils lead at 1-0 to the delight of this home fan base. Well, We knew that the ability was certainly there. It was just a matter of finding it, and the Blue Devils find it with little over 8 minutes to play here in this opening half. 1-0 the score, and now looking to carry the momentum onwards. Everett will play it up ahead. Wozniak in the vicinity there, looking to carry on the recent moments. Bologna will go on back this time for Nybor. Now delivered on ahead. Bouncing out there is Ann Fetzer, the 5'7" senior on the back line for the Comets from Holly, Michigan. One of a few Holly natives out on the field tonight, or this afternoon, rather. Nybor had Mather streaking. Early on, it was Messing with a chance that went off the crossbar, but magic produced from Lauren Wozniak in the form of a goal. Blue Devils looking to improve to 4-1 at home. They're 0-2 away from the friendly confines. Went 4-3-1 at home a season ago. Wozniak again that time. Silverman's header, and now three players collide. Mather hoping to strip it away that time from Amelia Northern. Here is Feldback. Feldpausch streaking, and Messing is there, the senior leader, able to break things up. Lauren Mabey, the freshman from Waterford High School. A goal on the year. The wealth has really been spread around in terms of scoring for this Olivet team. Mabey scored her first against Manchester. That was a 6-goal effort on the side of Olivet. Under 5 to play now. The Comets will hope to create something in an effort to equalize this one. The Blue Devils hoping to stay up 1-0 or perhaps add on to this lead. Through the middle and turning here is Lauren Mabey. Had time to turn back and give it to Kylie Schneck. McClay now in, mentioned her earlier, on the Blue Devils side. The freshman from Romeo who has the ability to be quite clinical in front of the net scored the first goal of the season and the first goal of her collegiate career to put the Blue Devils up 1-0 and what was a makeshift home advantage at Southfield's A&T. That match against Huntington was a 3-1 victory to kick off the season for the Blue Devils. Mentions the men's match against Huntington last weekend. That was absolutely spectacular and such a fun finish to watch. The overtime winner a couple of minutes in. Had that one for you right here on LTSN. We'll have more men's matches coming up as they approach the conference season as well. This is Ali Nybor. On down. Wozniak watching. And Fetzer there with the senior Fetzer. Smart. Although this will go back to the Blue Devils. Silverman was there, Bologna, and now back to Jeanette. She'll settle things down and play it over to Marie Ann Torres. The senior, one of 3 seniors, has been so good this season. Now, nice quick touch there from Shupp back to Mather. Mather was taken down. Nybor looking back post. Mather's header. Shupp back. Curling and playing it back. The back pass goes to Randy Jeanette. Now here's Ali Nybor. Jeanette, here's Shupp back. Smooth passing here, and it's Bologna. Streaking with her is Torres. She'll feed Torres. Torres the cross, and that goes soaring right at Haley. Approaching the final minute of this opening half. It was Lauren Wozniak slipping behind the defense and putting it into the back of the net to put us where we currently stand. Amelia Northern. Mather with a little bit of time and space to look up the field. She looks up and finds Wozniak. There defensively was Sarah Feldpausch, the junior from Middleville, Michigan. Thornapple Kellogg High School. Started 3 of the first 6 games this season on the Olivet side. As this first half comes to a close, a seal of approval from the Blue Devil fans. 1-0, your score off the Lauren Wozniak goal. The Blue Devils put one in the back of the net for the first time since August 31st and hoping to carry that momentum over to the second half under head coach Andy Richards. They'll talk things over. We'll take a break, and we'll see you right back here on the other side of the break for more on the LTSN Sports Network. Welcome back to LTSN. Blue Devils up 1-0 after the Lauren Wozniak first half goal. The last Blue Devil victory was by a score of 1-0 right here on this field over Roosevelt. That was back on August 31st under the lights. What was a historic moment, the first under the lights moment in the history of LTU athletics. And now on what is a bright, clear, warm afternoon, the Blue Devils will hope to hold on to this lead and grab their 4th victory of the season. Looking to take advantage here is Emma Essen, the senior. She'll go back on to Chelsea Smith. Sarah Schweitz, tracked down by Mather. Over to Torres, who had such a nice first half. Nybor, back to Silverman, slipped by Silverman. And now on to Mather. She'll turn, but right on back to Torres. Torres, the delivery, takes a couple of hops. And no effort needed from Rebecca Almendoz. Almendoz made a couple of saves in that first half. First chance was probably the one with the most potential for Olivet. Able to win the header that time was Essen. Here is Essen. Essen leading the way for this Olivet team with 4 goals through 6 games. Hails from Blissfield, Michigan, about an hour and 10 minutes away from here. Shupback making a run there was Bologna. Shupback opted to play it back to Nybor. Now Chelsea Smith on into Abby Radcliffe, the 5'6" junior, trying to turn and fight away from Laura Silverman, the University of Detroit Mercy transfer. Now serpentining her way free, rather aesthetically pleasing, was Abby Radcliffe, and she went down. This will be Radcliffe. LaForza Club Soccer, one of a couple of players on the Olivet side that have allegiance to LaForza. The delivery, and that sails high over top. Bologna approaches in the midfields. Now chasing back defensively. Was messing, but slipping on by is Essen. Crosser. Edge of the area. Torres. Lands on top of the net and rolls onto the back for Almendoz. Essen. Jeanette back there defensively. She's done a nice job. Did so throughout the first half. Header will land on the foot of Wozniak, the lone goal scorer. Looking for McClay. McClay with 2 goals and 2 assists on the season. This will stay with LTU. Looking to get back, looking for open space now. Goes Abby Radcliffe. Play it on back there for Anna Bind. Wozniak turns, fires, Shutback was there. McKenna Graham, the senior, back defensively on a back line that is relatively inexperienced for Olivet, but now here they are trying to transition and create a little bit of offense with Torres, watched cautiously by Randy Jeanette. Now Torres turns, looking to get by Jeanette. Plays it over to Essen. Can Essen settle it down? The bump, and this will favor Lawrence Tech. Bologna. Shutback with time to turn and look. Plays a return touch to Bologna, but there defensively reading it well was Essen. Pruitt off the right foot of Jeanette. And back it goes here for Kylie Schneck, the freshman from Rochester, hoping to make an impact, possibly gain trust from her coaches in her freshman campaign. Here's Maya Pruitt, the junior. Pruitt recorded her first assist a couple of matches ago versus Heidelberg, has the ability to score 4 goals a season ago, still in search of her first of the season. Shup back there. Blue Devils talked about working on settling down those long balls and breaking down the defense. That was one of the points of emphasis going into the matchup against Spring Arbor. Maya Pruitt, just 5 foot, but plenty of heart. Here is Pruitt. And Jeanette gets back just in the nick of time. Trying to chase her down there was Ann Fetzer, the senior. Grace White, rather. And that'll produce a corner opportunity on the way from Olivet. Didn't take any corners against Elmhurst in that 2-0 defeat. Here's the delivery. Grace White in the vicinity. Nybor plays it up ahead for Shutback. She'll look and go over her options. Had McClay leaking down. Couldn't quite find her. Wozniak was up there as well. That combo of Wozniak and McClay has been a good one. You wonder how many they could possibly combine for this season. They both got off to pretty hot starts. Four games in, Wozniak and McClay combining for 4 goals on the year. And Wozniak added to that total and made it 4 in the first half, and that has us at this point of 1-0. Messing, who had an opportunity herself to score in the first half, will deliver on down. Bologna, quick speed down that right side. Mather will touch it on back for Shutback. She'll look for Bologna. Bologna dances. Silverman, Nybor, Bologna once more. A nice move to initially get past there. And now looking to counterattack are the Comets. Streaking out here is Grace White. Trying to beat Randy Jeanette, and there's a bomb and a goal. Grace White, the equalizer, and we're one apiece here in Southfield. White sees an opportunity and absolutely conquers it. Able to slip behind and leaves no concern. 1-1 now. So the Blue Devils looking to respond now after the Grace White goal. Her first of her sophomore campaign, had 1 goal as a freshman, and now an all-important one to tie things up here, and a new game. The header from Barnes up to Mather. Silverman able to cut things off in the midfield. Quick, efficient touch up to Smith. Now here's Chelsea Smith on the Olivet side. Messing. In front of Mather, took a favorable hop. And that'll leave things for Messing to track it down and send it on back to Almondo's. Nybor taken down. Ellie Nybor, the architectural engineering major from Granville High School. The junior. A goal and 2 assists through 6 games. And look back on the impressive freshman campaign that she had, scoring 8 goals. And from there, you knew that she was going to be quite special. Delivers on down. Here's Wozniak. Smith turning. She's been rather reliable in terms of keeping possession. So now it'll be Sydney Everett's to throw in. Wozniak in the vicinity. And here comes the set piece opportunity for the Blue Devils. The delivery, Messing had intentions to possibly make an effort at another header, but just too far out in front of her. And that was probably the closest and most dangerous threat on that occasion. 7-10-1 a year ago were the Blue Devils. Season ended with a first-round loss in the WAC tournament. They're hoping to build on that this year and to go deeper in postseason play. Schneck up ahead to Feldpausch. Madison Smith. And the tie up and the flags are up. Silverman charged that time, the guilty party. There hasn't been much ball watching on either side this afternoon. Both sides very passionate defensively, closing quickly. Open space for the most part in the midfield, though. It's been a momentum-filled affair. Now chasing after this one goes Chelsea Smith, 5'4", from St. John's High School. The midfielder will try to deliver one in. Now settling things down. Grace White, the lone goal scorer for the Comets, who was able to streak free a few minutes ago and tie things up at 1-1. And that'll produce a corner. Once again, no corner opportunities for Olivet in their recent loss to Elmhurst. Olivet also looking to get back on track. They were shut out themselves against Elmhurst. We're currently at 1 apiece. Almondo is able to come out and punch that one away. Smith will try to track it down. LTU in search of a resurgence tonight. Consecutive losses for the first time. Hoping to improve to 4-1 at home and hoping to improve to 4-3 on the season. We're currently equal. Trying to track this one down is Trapp. Unable to beat out McKenna Graham that time. Now who can win the ball in the midfield? This one will roll on back to Ali Nybor. Maya Pruitt. Abby Radcliffe. Emma Essen. Couple of number 3s chasing after it there. Sydney Everett defensively back on the LTU side. And she had the last touch. That attempt from Radcliffe sails over top. Barnes, a couple of header opportunities now, looking to take that ricochet. That time it was Abby Radcliffe again. And on the throw-in will be Chelsea Smith. Nybor streaking down with Sarah Trapp. Having to turn and look up here will be Barnes. Finds Wozniak with a little bit of space and enough time to pass and look up ahead. Sarah Trapp, the intended receiver. Making a run now here is Essen. Once again going up against Everts. Essen, a nice little pullback move. Approaches, shoots, outstretched. Save made there by Almondoz. May or may not have clipped off her fingertips. I think it just sailed on wide. A sprawling Almondoz there. Or perhaps it did go off her fingertips. Will this produce a corner? It will. Miranda Gale in off the bench. The sophomore from Grand Ledge High School. A goal and an assist this season. Has made 3 starts. Trying to streak through here is Essen. Able to get by Jeanette. Save made by Almondoz. Silverman. Nybor. Madison Smith making her 3rd start of the season. This will chase Jeanette back. Essen once again with the advantage here. A little bit of trouble. Essen, though, unable to keep her balance. An opportunity there, full of potential, but unable to capitalize, and we're still at 1 apiece. Messing. McKenna Graham, the senior from Brighton. Nybor's header. Looking to curl and go after it with Silverman. Here's Smith. Everett. Plenty of room to maneuver in the midfield. Essen again. A race with Almondoz. And Almondoz gets out in time. Nybor tracks that one down. Wozniak, the goal scorer for the Blue Devils in the vicinity there. And now we'll head to our second half water break. 1-1 after Grace White ties things up. A fun finish is what we could be in store for. And we'll find out. Coming up next, here on the LTU Sports Network, 22 minutes to play here in the second half of regulation. Welcome back to LTSN. The liquids have been digested, both teams re-energized, and the final 22 minutes that will determine whether we have a winner or whether we have a tie. Messing flying in there. She'll get back defensively now. Chelsea Smith to get us back in play here. Pretty congested on that near side. Messing able to break free and do a nice job out of it. Nybor. Barnes. Sarah Trapp, reliable with possession that time. Did well to get it over to back to Nybor. And now here's Nybor chasing things back. You're looking to keep the momentum going on the Blue Devils side. "20 minutes to play here in the second half of regulation. Wozniak going to chase things down there. It was Kylie Schneck hoping to make something happen for Olivet. Olivet under head coach Doug Carter, and his first season. They come in at 3-2 and 1 on the season. Both teams came out with energy today. Both teams came out with passion today. And it has carried over really throughout this one. Somewhat of a seesaw affair back and forth. And Blue Devils struck first. Olivet answered back in this half. Torres with time and space. Off the noggin of Feldpash, and back into the midfield we go. Sarah Trapp, open spaces here. Madison Smith streaking, looking for Wozniak. Intentions, Wozniak turns and stripped away. Now looking to counterattack will be Olivet. Settling things down. Wozniak does a nice job to get back defensively. Certainly didn't give up on that play. And now here's Everett looking to engineer something. She was stripped. The back and forth nature of this one that I mentioned certainly on display now. Under 20 to go. Here's Barnes. We saw a game winner here on this field's last Sunday. Will we see something of that nature again? Torres awaiting support. Messing stepped up. Like she's done so well all afternoon. Nybor the delivery. Headers. Trap. Loose. Smith in front of the net. And this will go back to Olivet. An opportunity there on the delivery from Nybor. Jeanette trying to squeak through, but stymied. Now she'll have to watch Chelsea Smith. A battle, a duel. Who will win this? It's Jeanette able to halt the progress, and Smith able to clear. Jeanette's gotten back quite a bit today and faced challenges just like that really all afternoon. Nybor. Behind Messing, but to Silverman. Barnes stalked cautiously there by Angelina McCalsey. Smith slides it on over to Everetts. Back for Smith. Silverman a little bit of space, calling for it. Now looking, streaking. Nybor, can she get there in time? Closing on it was McKenna Graham. Michigan Alliance MRL Club. Player is McKenna Graham, the senior from Brighton. Nybor. Now Trapp will play it on over. Silverman and back to Torres. The Canadian will bring it on back to Almondo's and out to Messing. The intensity is on display now. The passion and the pure want for victory in these final 15 minutes. You can see it on these players' faces. You can feel the pressure. Fans on the edge of their seats watching with quiet satisfaction, but anxious, no doubt. Mather. Looking for McClay, galloping strides, a spirited stride down that right-hand side. And Lawrence Tech, another opportunity here in the Olivet half. McClay taken down. Nybor, McClay back up on her feet, looking. Hooking, sliding shot there, taken by Sarah Trapp. Power off the left foot. Last time the Blue Devils were here, just couldn't quite get any shots with any kind of ferocity, as head coach Andy Richards put it, against Purdue Northwest. It's been a more spirited effort all around. They've gotten back defensively when needed, and there's certainly been more of an effort offensively. 1-1, though, on the equalizer from Grace White. Here's Mather. Shut back. McClay. there defensively once again, and Fetzer stepping up. She's had a nice last few minutes. Here is Fetzer. $11:56 to play here in this second half of regulation. Olivet has already tied once this year. 3-2-1 on the season. McClay, can she break free here? Stepping up, getting back defensively there. It was Kylie Schneck saving the day. What would have been McClay and Samantha Gifford staring each other eye to eye had Schneck not get back. Barnes. A little too hot to handle that time. And Messing will chase back after this one as conditioning becomes a factor now in these final 10 minutes. But it appears to be the heart and the pure want, the pure desire that is taking over in these pressure-packed moments. Nybor delivers down for McClay. Torres steps up. Shutback from Mather. Shutback able to squeak past the initial defense and slides it on over to Bologna. Bologna up to Trapp there, who had a wicked shot a couple of minutes ago that hooked wide right. McClay. Shutback. Bologna. Blue Devils holding possession well over these past few minutes. Feels as though possession has been just about equal as a whole on both sides. Neither side with a significant advantage in that category. How important it could be, though, in these final 8 minutes. Here's Torres. Pass will lead. Feldpaus certainly too far. As the anticipation and the pressure and the moment continues to build here at the LTU Athletic Field. Newly renovated LTU Athletic Field, showing the growth of this LTU Athletic Department. The newly installed lights. This Blue Devil team has had a couple of under the lights matches. About a 2,000-seat capacity. Yesterday, the Blue Devil football team absolutely pounced on Pitt Club football, winning 62-zip. Had that one for you right here on LTSN. More action coming up next week. The location where you can find all of your Blue Devil athletics from sport to sport. And don't forget to watch the LTU Sports Report on Fox Sports Detroit tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Here's Bologna looking to engineer something. Can she settle it down? Looks up and ran into a bit of a wall there. Under 7 to go now. Who can make something happen? Trapp able to get off of her marker, but ran right into the back line again. Now it's McClay. Marked well by McKenna Graham. McKenna Graham has done such a nice job making critical interventions in her own half of the field. Torres. Randy Jeanette. Jordan Messing. Here's Ali Nybor. Back to Alexis Barnes. Skying high. Turning and shooting that time. To no avail was Sarah Trapp. Going down and getting up rather gingerly is Caitlin Mather. Obviously looking at Mather, Nybor, Trapp as possible threats in this as we approach the final 5 minutes now. And they're going to say it was a penalty in the area, a foul, and this will set up the penalty shot for Nybor. The sprawling save made that time. It was Gifford, and Olivet stays alive. Messing. Nybor. Shupbeck. This crowd is waiting to erupt. Breaking out here comes Ann Fetzer. A little bit of space and she'll play it up to Torres. Torres goes on back to Smith. In search of the dangerous and talented Emma Essen. But with 4:09 to play, it's the Blue Devils once again looking to work it up from the back. They've done that so nicely this afternoon. Smith. Torres slipping there was Trapp while she backpedaled. Schneck over to Messing. Slipping free here. Almondo's able to get out and fall on the soccer ball before Sarah Schwartz could get over. With 2:38 left, Grace White, such a powerful right leg. Certainly have to be ready here if you're Almondo's. White. And showing the power, but not in the fashion that she would have liked. .152 and counting now. Torres will take this throw in and try to finds a way through what has been an absolute parking lot in the midfield over these past couple of minutes, but it's working in favor of the Blue Devils right now as they simply keep advancing it forward in a methodical fashion. Now they'll have to turn back a bit. Shup back on to Torres. .80 seconds to go. Here is Samantha Torres. Shot back, pushing up ahead. A little bit of open space now. Here's McClay. Settling things down. Able to win it back. Hard-fought, passionate battle with 47 seconds to go now. Fans on their feet. A corner will be produced here. Trying to expedite the process is Elaine Nybor. .26 seconds. And they'll have another shot at it. 15 seconds. Nybor. In the vicinity. Mather, can she settle it down? Mather again. But the save made there by Gifford. And that will wind things down. Welcome back to LTSN. Here for an extra session. Tied up at 1. And we'll head to the first overtime period. 10 minutes. If we don't finish up in 2 overtime periods, this one will go down as a tie. An aggressive start off the bat from Samantha Torres. Getting it up ahead here for Essen, trying to squeak her way through. It's Radcliffe, and cleared out that time by Messing. Hopping up there defensively, Laura Silverman, the University of Detroit Mercy transfer. Here's Shupback. Wozniak. McClay to Wozniak. Fans on their feet awaiting. But a nice job defensively to get back on the Olivet side. Nine shots on goal for the Blue Devils in this one. The corner, low. Messing tried to turn with it. Ball goes back to Nybor. Can the Comets find a little bit of open space? Certainly open space through the midfield right now. Nybor trying to fight her way back defensively. Up ahead it goes Samantha Torres. Drop pass. White up ahead now. Here's Abby Radcliffe. Messing. Ball settles down on the foot of Ann Fetzer, the senior. Now Shupback lofts it on down. Opting to stay in her net was Gifford. Wozniak up. And the Blue Devils will take possible advantage of this. You wonder how much energy is left in the legs of these Blue Devil players and these Comets. McKenna Graham will start it from the back for Olivet. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into this first overtime session. And now Almendoz will take this off a few hops. Scanning, and she'll deliver to the midfield. Can Sydney McClay win that header? Couldn't, but Mather gets in the mix, and she's called for the foul. Doing a nice job to win that tie-up was Essen. Up ahead, Messing appeared to take down the proceedings of Chelsea Smith. The Blue Devils at 3-3 on the season. They've lost their last 2, hoping to get back above 500 as we approach WAC play. A big match in that sense, making this a big final 5 minutes and 50 seconds. We will go another overtime session if this one doesn't produce a winner. Olivet tied with Anderson earlier this season. Here's White, the lone goal scorer for the Comets, trying to track it down defensively, and doing so, it was messing. Bologna up ahead, trying to find time to turn is McClay. Looks up ahead for Wozniak. Can she find space? Sealed off there rather well by Ann Fetzer, but right to Bologna. Now here is Lauren Maybe, the 5'7" freshman from Mott High School. Now Torres trying to settle things down. Right tightly on her back, being stalked there by Sydney Everett, the junior defenseman from Dansville, Michigan, the Jackson Community College transfer. Abby Radcliffe. Under 4 now. Radcliffe! Right to Messing. Had White in the vicinity, but not enough power on that cross attempt. Looking to whip across into the box there. .330 and counting. McClay heads out. She'll get a high five from head coach Andy Richards. Madison Smith back in. Essen, a spirited rush up the field. Torres will track it down. Trying to set up, whips across into the box. Stymied there by the forehead of the senior Jordan Messing. Another cross that time. Knocked out there by Silverman. Under 2 minutes to play in the first overtime. Nybor looks downfield. Looking for the long, quick ball. Now they'll try to work it intricately, but with intention through the midfield. Silverman. .80 seconds. A few players noticeably hunching over now. Fatigue certainly playing a factor. Can desire take over? Grace White. Making a run down the left-hand side, and Fetzer. Can she catch up to this one? Does. Watched. Staring into the eyes of Jordan Messing. The defense is back. Silverman does a nice job there to get it up to Nybor. Nybor will clear. 42 seconds to go. Smith recovered well. Lauren Maybe. Kylie Schnack runs into Wozniak. The lone goal scorer looking to break free and taken down. Crowd certainly pleading their case, pleading for the case of Wozniak. And that'll wrap up this first 10-minute overtime. Another break ahead, another discussion ahead. We'll be right back here on LTSN.
So we're going to Eastern next week. Are we going to film the game, or we're going to do the live broadcast?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be cool.
That'll just be like a bare bones
Okay.
setup, so it'll probably just be one camera up in the press box. You know, with just yourself.
Okay.
Because Key will be here.
Okay.
Doing the soccer.
Who's gonna do baseball?
Oh, yeah.
Streaming.
Chase? I forget. He did send out an email today.
Okay. Because I know Dylan's gonna do play-by-play.
Yeah,
I think
And
he's here.
and then Ali will do highlights.
Okay.
Oh no, I think I'm with Brent, and then Brent I'll just have on streaming because I don't think he.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Start my prep on Eastern. Do you know if they play at Eastern's field? They're the Division One. Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be sweet.
Oh, it's a big, huge.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That's gonna be sweet.
So baseball's Derek, Jenna, Chase, and Adam.
Welcome back to LTSN. 10 more minutes to decide whether these teams will add ties to their records, whether one team will add a loss, and whether or not one team, the other, will add a win. Almondo steps out. Grace White was approaching. Able to slip in behind there. Can one of these teams produce a magical moment in the second overtime? Caitlin Mather able to flick it back to herself. Galloping down here, looking for Delaney Chalker. The freshman moves in, but the proceedings were halted in swift fashion. Coaches Doug Carter and Andy Richards look on, directing their teams, but awaiting the action here. And the action will be started this time by Nybor off the body of a Comet, and now back for Schupbach. Here's Silverman. Looking, scanning over her options in search of Mather, but too tall, although giving chase here is Bologna, and that one sails into the Blue Devil sideline. Clock will stop at 6:59 for this injury. At 2 hours and 21 minutes of match time now total. Clock hits 5:22. Our game clock at 6:59 in the second overtime. Here on this September 16th, Sunday afternoon. Stretching going on right now. You wonder if cramps are beginning to play a role, fatigue beginning to play a factor. Both teams battling it out in the heat. Not much shade. Really just one spot of shade on this field down in the LTU half, in that left-hand corner, but none on this side of the fields. Sun blazing down, and the pressure creating a cloud of tension, waiting to see what could possibly happen in these final minutes. Chalker, who got the start this afternoon, back out now, and back out in the biggest of moments as a freshman. Header won there by the Comets, but once again out of play, and this will give a chance for Nybor to deliver into Smith, looking to settle things down, looking to get position, and that will produce a corner. Nice work done by Smith to force what will be now Ali Nybor delivering in here. With 6:11 to play in the second overtime, Nybor, Mather, nothing doing that time. Blue Devils coming off a loss to Spring Arbor. It was a 5-0 loss during which they surrendered 4 goals in the first half. It was a different story this afternoon. They scored in the first half, now looking for a goal that could possibly extend their record to 4-3. 5:10 remaining in the second overtime. If no one can score in the final 5:10, ties will be added into the third column of each of these teams' records. Smith taking a bit more of an offensive role in this second half, and really in the first half as well. Here's Silverman. Galloping out here, looking to counterattack. It's Abby Radcliffe up ahead for Grace White. Now Torres streaking down is Radcliffe with her along with Essen. Here's Torres looking, unable to produce. 4:07 to play now here in this second overtime. It's a pleasure to have you here on LTSN. A pressure-packed, close, back-and-forth affair is what we've seen unfold before our eyes this afternoon. Torres will once again give chase after this, but to no avail as Jeanette is the first one back. But Torres will have an opportunity to throw in here. Under 4 to play. And Grace White, the guilty party there. And the Blue Devils will try to work it back up the field. Appears as though Mather was given a foul there. She'll plead her case, but it will still be Sarah Feldpouch, the junior, trying to engineer something here. Feldpouch able to break things up. It was shut back. Smith after this one now. Will play it down in an attempt to use her speed. Such brilliant speed down that right-hand side. Now Grace White, Jordan Messing. Quite the duel there. Jeanette with White approaching. Hard-fought battle, 1:50 to play. Almondo's. Silverman. Shut back. Here's Smith. Shot back. Both players warily chasing back after that, and the yellow card will be given to Shutback. Approaching the final minute now. Silverman able to clear. Smith and Chalker up. Essentially playing as the two forwards. Now looking to move in tight here. Here's Grace White. Nybor with 45 seconds to play. Chalker turning. Half a minute. Shut back, and time will expire on what was a back-and-forth affair. Lauren Wozniak in the first half, Grace White in the second half. The Blue Devils struck first, a result. We'll see what head coach Andy Richards and company think about it. 1-1. The final, the Blue Devils will go to 3-3-1 as that'll wrap up the non-conference season. Madonna coming into town next Friday. It should be an interesting battle. You can catch post-game coverage from this one by heading over to the LTU Athletics social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Coming to you very soon. Once again, it was a pleasure to have you here on LTSN this afternoon. More broadcasts coming up next week. We'll be back with you for women's soccer, our 6th women's soccer broadcast next Friday at 7 p.m. under the lights with Madonna coming to town. Once again, your final 1-1. The Blue Devils go to 3-3-1 on the season. Saying so long, I'm Jason Ross Jr. Have a wonderful Sunday afternoon.